Welcome back to Today Assets Report, the place where we break down the most explosive moves in the financial world. And today we are diving straight into a massive update that is currently sending shockwaves through the entire crypto community. If you have been holding Ripple's native token, you need to pay very close attention because the XRP 2026 price target just dropped, and calling it insane might actually be an understatement given the sheer scale of what analysts are now projecting. We are seeing a complete shift in the narrative as institutional players and retail investors alike try to wrap their heads around these new figures that suggest XRP could be on the verge of a historic breakout that dwarfs anything we saw back in 2017. It is absolutely wild to see how quickly the sentiment has flipped from cautious optimism to full-blown moon mission territory, but the data backing these claims is becoming harder and harder for even the biggest skeptics to ignore as the global financial plumbing starts to integrate with the ledger. You have to realize that we aren't just talking about a simple pump and dump scenario here. We are looking at a fundamental revaluation of what this digital asset represents in the context of the multi-trillion-dollar cross-border payment industry. The sheer volume of liquidity that is expected to flow through XRP by the time we hit 2026 is staggering, and this newly released report highlights specific catalysts that could act as high-octane fuel for the price action we are all waiting for. When you look at the technical indicators and the macro environment combined with the clarity Ripple has fought so hard to achieve, it creates a perfect storm where the upside potential starts to look like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for those who have the patience to hold through the volatility. I know a lot of you have been frustrated with the sideways trading and the endless legal drama, but if these targets are even remotely accurate, the wait is going to feel like a very small price to pay for the gains that are being forecasted by some of the most respected voices in the space. The energy around the XRP army right now is electric because these numbers aren't just coming out of thin air. They are based on rigorous modeling of total addressable markets and the anticipated adoption of on-demand liquidity by major banking institutions globally. It is important to remember that the world of finance is moving toward a standard of instant settlement, and XRP is positioned right at the center of that evolution, serving as the bridge currency that makes the old, slow, SWIFT system look like a relic of the past. As we peel back the layers of this report, it becomes clear that the 2026 timeframe is being viewed as the ultimate maturation point, where the utility of the token finally meets the speculative demand in a way that creates a massive supply shock. This isn't about hype or social media trends. It is about the cold, hard reality of how money is going to move in the digital age, and XRP is the front runner in a race that is currently being won by those who understand the underlying technology. I've been tracking these developments for a long time, but seeing this specific price target drop today honestly made me do a double take because it challenges every conservative estimate we've looked at over the past year. We are talking about a level of growth that would put XRP's market cap in direct competition with some of the largest companies on the planet, which sounds crazy until you realize that the market for global settlements is essentially infinite. Think about the billions of dollars that are currently locked up in pre-funded accounts all over the world just to facilitate international trade. If XRP can unlock that capital, the value proposition for the token becomes astronomical. The report emphasizes that the 2026 target is a reflection of a fully integrated financial ecosystem where Ripple's partners are no longer just testing the waters, but are fully submerged in the protocol, utilizing the speed and cost-effectiveness of the ledger to handle every single transaction. There is a sense of urgency in the air because, as we know in the crypto world, things tend to happen slowly and then all at once, and we might be approaching that all-at-once phase sooner than anyone anticipated. People often ask me why XRP is different from the thousands of other coins out there, and the answer always goes back to real-world utility and the fact that Ripple has spent years building the infrastructure and regulatory bridges necessary to survive in a strictly governed environment. While other projects are struggling to find a use case or running into dead ends with regulators, XRP is standing tall with a clear path forward and a roadmap that looks increasingly like a blueprint for the future of global finance. This latest price target is a testament to that persistence, and it serves as a wake-up call for anyone who thought the XRP story was over or that the token had already seen its best days. When you sit down and actually calculate the percentages required to hit these 2026 targets, your head might start to spin. But you have to keep in mind that crypto market cycles have a habit of overshooting even the most bullish expectations. We saw it with Bitcoin, we saw it with Ethereum, and now all signs are pointing toward XRP being the next major asset to experience that parabolic blow-off top that leaves everyone who stayed on the sidelines in total shock. The report explicitly mentions that the upcoming years will see a massive influx of institutional capital that has been waiting for the green light, and once that dam breaks, there is no telling how high the price can go. It is a classic case of supply and demand where the circulating supply of XRP simply cannot meet the massive requirements of global banks unless the price of each individual token increases significantly to accommodate the value of the transfers. If you are feeling overwhelmed by the news, just take a deep breath and realize that being early to a shift of this magnitude is exactly where you want to be, even if the road has been a bit bumpy lately. The 2026 price target isn't just a random number. It represents a vision of a world where value moves as freely and instantly as information does on the internet today, which is the Internet of Value that Ripple has been preaching since day one. This insane target is essentially a bet on the success of that vision, and given the partnerships and technological milestones we've seen recently, it's a bet that many experts are now willing to take with a high degree of confidence. You really have to admire the resilience of the community because staying focused on the long-term goal while the short-term noise tries to distract you is the hallmark of a successful investor in this high-stakes market. What makes this report so compelling is the way it breaks down the specific milestones we need to hit over the next 24 months to reach that insane valuation, and most of them are already in progress. We are looking at the launch of new stablecoins, the expansion of the EVM sidechain, and the continued integration of the XRP ledger into various central bank digital currency projects around the world. Each of these components adds a new layer of value to the ecosystem, creating a multifaceted demand for XRP that goes far beyond just a simple payment token. It is this diversity of use cases that provides the foundation for the massive price target, as it ensures that the network remains robust and essential, regardless of which specific sector of finance adopts it first. The report suggests that by 2026, the cumulative effect of these developments will reach a tipping point that catapults the price into a whole new stratosphere. I want you to think about where you were a few years ago and how much the world has changed since then, because the next 2 years are going to move even faster as AI and blockchain technology continue to converge. XRP is uniquely positioned to benefit from this acceleration, and the price targets we are seeing today are simply a reflection of that reality, catching up with the market's perception. It is easy to get caught up in the daily candles and the minor dips, but when you zoom out and look at the trajectory defined by this 2026 report, the big picture becomes incredibly clear and frankly quite exhilarating. This is the moment where the smart money starts to accumulate in a serious way. And if you are already in the game, you are ahead of the vast majority of the population who will only hear about this once the price is already hitting all-time highs. The report also touches on the geopolitical shifts that are favoring decentralized and neutral assets like XRP, as nations look for ways to settle trade without being dependent on any single fiat currency or political entity. This neutrality of the XRP ledger is a massive selling point for international organizations that want a level playing field, and it's a factor that many people overlook when they are just looking at price charts. As the world becomes more fragmented, the need for a common, efficient, and fast bridge asset grows exponentially, and XRP is the only asset that was built from the ground up to fill that specific role. That is why the 2026 target is so high. It accounts for a world where XRP is not just an alternative, but a necessity for the functioning of global commerce in a post-legacy banking era. Don't let the insane label on this price target scare you away or make you think it's impossible, because we have seen impossible things happen in the crypto space every single year since Bitcoin was created. If you had told someone 10 years ago where the market would be today, they would have called you crazy. Yet here we are, with institutional ETFs and sovereign nations holding digital assets on their balance sheets. The 2026 XRP price target is just the next chapter in that ongoing story of financial revolution, and it's one that promises to be the most exciting yet for those who have stayed loyal to the vision. We are talking about a fundamental shift in the power dynamics of money. And XRP is the tool that is going to enable that shift for millions of people around the globe who are currently underserved by the status quo. As we move closer to that 2026 deadline, the frequency of these massive updates and price target revisions is likely to increase as more data points confirm the bullish thesis that we've been discussing here on Today Assets Report. It is an incredible time to be involved in this market, and staying informed is your best defense against the FOMO and the FUD that will inevitably try to knock you off your path. This latest report is a gift for those who want to see the potential future of their holdings, providing a roadmap that is both ambitious and grounded in the technological reality of what Ripple is actually achieving. Keep your eyes on the prize and don't let the short-term volatility blind you to the fact that we are witnessing the birth of a new financial system in real time. One of the most interesting parts of the transcript and the accompanying report is the focus on the burn rate and how increased utility leads to a diminishing supply of XRP over time. While the amount burned per transaction is small, when you scale that up to the level of global financial volume expected by 2026, it adds a deflationary pressure that further supports the insane price targets being set. This is a mechanic that many casual observers miss, but it is a vital part of the long-term value appreciation of the token, as it ensures that the asset becomes scarcer even as it becomes more useful. It's a beautiful synergy between technology and economics that is rarely seen in traditional finance, and it's one of the main reasons why the XRP bulls are so confident in these high-end projections. So, as we wrap up this segment, I want you to really digest what this 2026 price target means for your personal strategy and how it changes your outlook on the current market conditions. We are standing on the edge of something massive, and while the road to 2026 will undoubtedly have its share of twists and turns, the destination looks more promising than ever before according to these latest findings. I will be here every step of the way to keep you updated on every major headline and every shift in the data so that you can make the most informed decisions possible for your portfolio. This is an era of unprecedented opportunity, and I am so glad to have you along for the ride as we track the rise of XRP and the transformation of the global economy. Thank you so much for tuning in to Today Assets Report. And if you found this breakdown of the insane new XRP price target helpful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update on the assets that matter most. We are entering a phase of the market where things move fast, and staying ahead of the curve is the only way to capitalize on the moves that are coming our way. Remember to do your own research and stay disciplined, but also allow yourself to get a little excited about the potential that we are seeing unfold right before our eyes. The 2026 targets are set, the pieces are moving into place, and the next 2 years are going to be a journey that none of us will ever forget as we watch the XRP story reach its incredible climax. Would you like me to create a thumbnail concept or a list of tags to go along with this script?